Communications and teaching here at Ugly Mug. And today I am super excited to be chatting with our website coordinator, Franny Gonzalez. Franny is an absolute wizard. He has been launching so many websites this month, y'all. I can't even, y'all, in like literally the last 30 days, I think Franny has launched like 8 or 9 websites or something like that, or soon to be 8 or 9 websites. So he is an absolute genius when it comes to websites, content creation, design, but also in terms of SEO and PPC and how we can create our websites so that they are better optimized for high performance when it comes to SEO and when it comes to our PPC campaigns, and really driving meaningful, keyword, meaningful traffic to our website. People that are actually going to Google or going to Bing or any of these other search engines and searching for products or services like ours. Franny is going to teach us exactly what we need to do in order to ensure that we're showing up in the search for these prospective customers. So welcome to the show today, Franny.
Thank you. Thank you. It's about to be 9 websites launched in about a month. So super excited to get a lot of websites out of here. So
that is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And then it was a record breaking one. So we did a 8 to 12 week one, and I did it in 4.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That one's actually more crazy, I feel like.
It was because if you think about it, a kickoff is like about a week, design and everything, and content.
And then like creating, like writing all of the content, ensuring you have all of the correct information from the client in order to even begin creating that content. They must have been like the perfect client too, whoever that website was.
They were, and I sent him a couple Starbucks gift cards for that. So shout out to Duncan Transportation. They were great clients. So
yeah, everyone needs to be more like Duncan Transportation.
Yeah, good.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, I really want to talk about this idea of like, okay, so like this is actually so perfect because you've launched all of these websites, and oftentimes, whether someone is creating a custom website with us, which they should, but whether they're creating a custom website with us or they're going on a tool like Wix or Squarespace and they're making their own website, or maybe they're outsourcing to someone else, regardless, they find themselves in a situation where they've either invested a lot of resources, whether that be financial resources to build a custom website, or time in that they're doing it themselves, or they're going back and forth with a designer, or whatever it may be. Like both of those come into play, right? And so they've invested all this time and money. And what happens is they hit that publish button or the website goes live. And after all of that time and money and resources, they hear crickets. No one comes to the website. No action is getting taken. I find that that's probably like really true with e-commerce people too, right? Like they're like, all these people can shop online now and they're going to be coming and we're going to do like multi-million dollars in sales like the first time after we hit publish on our website. But the reality is, if they built a custom website with us, it's different, right? Because we know all of these key components and things that need to be on the site, but especially for those who are maybe going with someone else, or they're doing it themselves, like they hit publish and no one comes to the website. Again, the crickets are there and that's it. And so the thing that they are missing is the traffic. And in order to get more traffic, they need to focus on SEO and PPC. Today, I really only want to talk about SEO. We can talk about PPC on your next coffee chat. But I want to hear from your perspective, like, first of all, and not even from your perspective, but just what is SEO? And then second of all, like, why is that important when it comes to the development of our website? And what does that have to do with like seeing crickets or hearing crickets on our website traffic to like all of a sudden driving meaningful traffic to our website? So yeah, what is SEO and why is it important?
Yeah. So SEO is search engine optimization, and it's very important once you have the website launched you have to put in the work basically to look up keywords, look up what people are searching for related to your business. And those specific keywords, let's say best coffee shops in town, best coffee, those keywords should be on your website, on your titles, because that's going to relate to your website. If the website and Google can trust you, then they're going to be showing you on those searches. But you really have to update your content on the daily, check for those keywords and add them to your website. So like you said, our custom admin panel and our custom websites are so easy to make those changes. That's something our clients really leave very happy with. They realize that to make changes on the website is very easy and simple. So SEO for our clients is very easy and they love doing it, and updates can be done instantly. So everything's easy to find, titles, pictures, whatever they want to change, even post as well. So
but SEO itself is really the process of positioning your website so that it ranks highly when people are searching. So in the example that you gave, if you're a coffee shop in an area, and you want to show up in more searches for people that are looking for coffee shops, we need to make sure that, those keywords like best coffee shop, because isn't it so true, especially with that example, when you go to a new city and if you're a coffee lover like me, which by the way, if you were ever in Raleigh, North Carolina, 42 in Lawrence, which they sell Larry's coffee, which is brewed locally in Raleigh, North Carolina. You have to go there. It's the best coffee. But anyway, if someone comes to Raleigh and they're searching best coffee shop in Raleigh, we want this coffee to show up. We want Larry's coffee, and we specifically want 42 in Lawrence to pop up when people are searching. So that's ultimately what SEO is, right? It's just like having that showing up on the first page. In an ideal world, showing up as the top ranking option for coffee shop, or the top ranking option for best t-shirt, to purchase for men, or, whatever your company or product or service is. So that's really what SEO is. And it sounds like in order to have qualified buyers show up and find you, that's where the keywords come into place, right?
Yeah, and it's all organic. So you really have to put the work in, and you got to play the long game to see the results in the long term. But at the end of the day, SEO is probably better than PPC because it's organic. It's done on your own. And if you play the long game, it's definitely more beneficial than PPC. But you just got to play the long game. The thing about PPC is you see instant results, but SEO is you play the long game, but it's organic. So if you're at the top, you'll stay there for a while for sure.
Yeah. And for those who are watching and they're like, what is PPC? What does that stand for? Tell us what PPC is.
So PPC is paid per click. So instead of having those organic keywords from your website, you're paying for those keywords. So every time somebody clicks on your ad, if you're running an ad with those keywords on it, then you're paying for that click. So that's why it's called pay per click. So.
Yeah. And so when we're Googling and we're searching for best coffee shop, and we see maybe an option at the top, but it says sponsored.
Yeah.
That's what that is, right? And that means that person is running an ad specifically using a keyword of best coffee shop in Raleigh or whatever it may be. So that's the difference between organically showing up when you scroll down a little bit and you don't see that like sponsored part, versus seeing that first option come up and seeing the sponsored kind of like faded and like gray or whatever below it. So, but SEO seems to be really important because, like you said, it is organic. It is a long game, which I think is a really key distinction between that and PPC. Again, we're not going to go into all the nuances of pay-per-click advertising right now. But I think that is a really important thing to note, that just because you have all of the keywords or trending things that people are searching for right now as it relates to your business does not mean that tomorrow, all of a sudden, you're going to have a line out the door for people wanting to buy your coffee, or that you're going to have all of this website traffic coming to purchase the t-shirt that your boutique sells or that your men's online clothing store sells, right? it means that, we're going to have to keep optimizing over time and maybe changing a little bit with the trends, right? In order to ensure that we're getting the right people on our website. And that's what's going to drive traffic, not just building a website, but like doing the work to find some of those keywords. And I know we've been talking about keywords quite a bit, but I wanna dive into what kind of like the top 5 most important things to do when you're building your website so that it is optimized and more likely to show up in the top of searches when people are searching.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's dive into like what are those top 5 things?
Yeah. So the first one is, we kind of discussed it already, but use the right keywords that relate to your business. So that way, when you're searching on Google, you have those keywords on your website, and that's titles, headings, and the content that you're writing. So whenever you're changing content on your website, you really got to make sure those keywords and those titles are on your website. That way they relate to the keywords.
Yeah.
And you should always, and something you should always be doing is checking your keywords on your website. There's always search engines, or there's some free ones out there, and it lets you know where you stand, where your rankings are, what keywords, and it even lets you know what you're missing. And they're very beneficial. So there's a lot of free websites out there, and I suggest using that and checking your content on the daily, because every day something's changing on Google. Google is they change a lot of things, so for sure, always keep up your website with Google. The second thing is page speed insight. You always want to have your website up to speed. Make sure everything's running smoothly. If somebody comes to your website and it's slow, then that's just going to have a bounce rate, and it'll bounce you right off. And the bounce rate is going to go higher, and Google's not going to trust you that much. So organically, it's going to push you lower and lower. So you always want to have your page speed insight above a 90, and there's free tools out there as well. And anything below that, then you should probably be talking to your developer, or Ugly Mug is here for you guys. So.
Yeah, shameless plug for Ugly Mug.
Yeah.
No, I love that you bring that up, because that is the thing that I feel like people would not think about.
Yeah, they don't.
But how often when we're searching for something,
yeah.
and maybe we've clicked all the options at the top, but maybe you get to one on like bottom of the first page or onto the second or third page when you're searching, and it like takes forever for it to load and you get annoyed. But Google is intentionally putting those options later because those people are getting dinged for having a slow load time. And so if your website is taking longer than, whatever time Franny said to load, then, or it has a lower score than 90, yeah, then maybe we need to look at what's slowing it down. I was just looking, Franny, at like a resource that we have that lists some of those tools that people can use in order to check your page speed. I'm going to drop one of those in the comment section here for all of you, but one of them is pages.web.dev. That can be a great tool for you to use to check your website speed. There's also this other one, it looks like it's called GT Metrics as well. So if you guys want to check on page speed in particular for your website, I would definitely recommend going and seeing kind of how things rank up and see if that's something that's impacting basically consumers' ability to be able to find your product or service. So
and that's part of our pre-launch process and our post-launch, making sure that our websites are up to speed, making sure even on mobile too, making sure that your website is up to speed on mobile, that it's quick to load, everything is working fine. That's for desktop and mobile. I think mobile is more important because everybody's searching for you on their phone. So definitely check your mobile website and make sure it's up to date with speed. So
yeah, for sure. All right. So what is number 3? So number 1 was searching, making sure you're looking at the keywords, that you know what the people in your target audience are searching for when it comes to your product or service. Then we want to focus on our website usability, essentially. So we want to make sure that our website is loading quickly and probably that it's easy and functional for our potential customers to use once they actually land on the website. But let's talk about step 3 now.
Yeah.
What's step 3?
So create quality content. So creating quality content that answers your specific niche that you're targeting, like people that are coming to your website and answering those questions that they may have. That's really good, having that quality content, and that provides value to anybody coming to the website, and updating that content too, and making sure that whoever's coming to your website, they can find information about you, what services you provide, the phone number, anything that's gonna help you answer any questions for that the customer's coming. That will help the bounce rate, that'll help the content, that'll help the visibility. Google will trust you more. And it's not just a one-time thing. You got to update that content because keywords are changing. People always have different questions. So you got to see what content is the best for your target audience.
Yeah, I love that. I think so often when people think about a website, they're like, it's up,
Yeah.
it's done. I never have to touch it again. And it's like, no, your audience is changing and they're using different language or different lingo, or the market is changing. And there's this new term that they're now using. And it's like, if your website is not keeping up with that same rate of change, you will surely be out of business, right? Or like your website will surely be out of date. You have to make sure that's such like a good like kind of sub point is just like, yes, make sure your content is up to speed or on par with what your target audience is looking like, but be willing to update that over time, and don't just set up your website, launch it, and then think you're done there. You need to constantly be updating your pages and ensuring that it's in alignment with what people are searching for.
Yeah, one thing to know is try to find the age gap where that people are coming to your website. So if it's from 30 to 40 years old or 30 to 45, you got to speak their language. They're not speaking the same language as a 20-year-old, as a 25-year-old. So really specific content towards that audience is very helpful as well. So
yeah. This is kind of a sub point, but last week when I was meeting, or 2 weeks ago now, when I was meeting and chatting with Josh Monin, he was on our last coffee chat. If you guys want to go and check that out, it was all about building successful sales funnels. But one of the things that Josh and I got kind of on a rant about was the importance of the language that you're using on your site. Obviously, it ties into keywords, but I really want to touch on what Franny just said. Like, an 18-year-old speaks differently than a 40-year-old. And so if your target audience is someone who is 40 and is a business person, and like you really have to like clearly define who that person is so that you can write in such a way that attracts them first of all, but then also makes them want to take action. And so we talked about this idea of going and looking at your reviews, good and bad, and seeing what people are complaining about, what they'd like, going and doing the same for your competitors. But more importantly, look at the type of words that they're using or how they're describing their pain points or their challenges, and then go and use that same language in the copy on your website or just in your advertising in general, because that is a gold mine. Like, I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, okay, but what are they saying? Like, how are they talking about, t-shirts, or how are they talking about coffee, or how, like, I'm like, let's go on Reddit, because everybody knows people on Reddit just are out there spewing how they actually feel about anything. Right. And so it's like, how are they describing their frustration or their problem with this or that? And let's write our copy in such a way that actually relates, so that when they read it, they're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel, or that's my exact frustration. So not to go down that rabbit hole, y'all can go check out the last coffee chat with Josh Bonin for more on that. But I just wanted to quick touch on that because that is so important. And it's going to be important in content creation in general, knowing that target audience. But then once you've identified who that person is, like, let's go figure out what they're talking about and how they're talking about it in order to be more successful.
Yeah. And if that target audience is older, then definitely you have to have your website set up for the older audience, having really easy call to actions, having the phone number easy, email, anything that they're looking for, just have it really easy, because they're probably not going to be techie and they're not going to be looking through your website, reading everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, all important things to consider. Just the entire user experience on the website. You want to make sure that in and of itself is designed for the people that you're serving before you ever even get into the website design. I would imagine too, like, I was going to ask you this later. I still will, but just like mistakes that people make when they're designing a website. Like, I feel like one of them is probably they make it or they design it in such a way that they think it looks good or it makes sense to them, as a business owner, and they don't really think about the perspective of the customer. That could be like a thing that like deters people. But we can come back to that. I want to talk about steps 4 and 5 for optimizing and building a really great website in terms of SEO performance. So
number 4 is very important, is having your mobile friendly website. So having that website load on your phone, making it very easy to scroll. All the pages are loading. The call to actions are working. The phone number is clickable so they can call you right away. Google trusts mobile friendly websites more, and they'll rank you higher just for that. So always check your mobile, because 90% of the time they're probably searching for you on mobile. So always make sure everything's looking good on your mobile website as well.
Yeah. I think it's an absolute red flag when I like click on a link on Google and it pops up and I have to like zoom and like do this because they don't even have a mobile friendly site. I'm like, probably won't be trying to navigate and find this. And I'm not old, okay? So I'm not falling into that like older non-techie people. I'm like, this doesn't look trustworthy. It doesn't look up to date. It is hard to navigate. Like, I'm a mom. I'm busy. I'm on a time crunch. Like, I'm like, I don't have time to like try and find all the things. Like, I just want it to quickly be there and be readily available. And so having mobile friendly site sounds like it's key. What would you say step number 5 is in order to enhance our overall SEO performance?
Yeah, so definitely getting backlinks on other websites. That's very important. Building that relationship with any other companies or businesses that you might be working with, adding that URL to that website, built more trust with Google, letting them know that people trust you. They want to have you on the website, even if it's like we have our URL at the bottom of every website. And I think that's helped a lot for our domain rating, because it's organically. And one of the things that we haven't talked about is domain rating. So domain rating is really hard to get up. And I think ours is at like a 65 or around there. And we've had our domain for how long? Maybe like a long time. So
like 15, 16 years now.
So, and we do, and like we don't have we're at the top on Google and everything, but the domain rating was probably the hardest thing you could work on, because it's more of just Google trusting your domain and your URL. But yeah, so getting backlinks on other websites for sure, and that takes you to
also backlinking is also on your website. So like if your company writes a blog, for example, and you're like referencing something from another company or another brand or something, like making sure, or like having a link there, like hyperlinked, so that they can then navigate and go to that other company's website, and hopefully like vice versa, like you were mentioning. But it also has to do with people like going outbound from your site as well, like is beneficial.
Yeah, it has to be hyperlinked. If it's not hyperlinked, and then Google's not going to realize that. Yeah, it has to be hyperlinked. That way, that trust is built from Google to your site, because they know that other websites trust you to actually go in and hyperlink your website. So
yeah, cool. So we've talked about kind of a few different things today. So number one was like keywords, optimizing it that way, going in and looking at the data, how things compare to how you're performing, knowing how you're performing before those keywords, seeing how things change once you've implemented those keywords and kind of figuring out that language there. We talked about usability, really, was point number two, and making sure that our websites are loading quickly. And we dropped a couple links for some resources like page speed and GT metrics to go in and see how fast your website is loading. Franny told us that we need to make sure we have a score of 90 or higher. And if not, we might be in trouble. And our loading speed might be caused by a variety of different factors. Like it might be loading slow because we have too large of images or videos or some extra feature on our site that maybe we need to remove because it's actually not helping us show up higher in the search. So that was point number two. Point number three was all about content. Not creating your content and writing all of your headers for your pages and all the information on your homepage and forgetting about it, but actually updating that on a regular basis. Of course, your services or your products are not going to change, but maybe the way we talk about them is going to change. Or maybe we're going to have a blog on our website where we talk about relevant information that is changing so that we can keep everything up to date on a regular basis. And ultimately to optimize our page to the best of our ability. And then number four was backlinks.
Optimizing your mobile.
Oh, optimizing mobile. That's right. So number four was all about making sure that you have a mobile friendly website, which also means it needs to load quickly because guys, very rarely are we going on our desktop or laptop. We are for work, right? But like think about like from the consumer perspective of like making a purchase. I'm just like, I was just talking about, I'm laughing. My phone's open to Sail Croatia. So and I, before this, we're talking about where we're going on our next vacations, right? So I'm like, Sail Croatia, their website is beautiful on desktop, but all of these features and how it's moving in this video, it still moves the same and just as quickly on mobile. And that is so important, right? I don't want to see a completely different site on desktop versus mobile. So making sure you have a mobile optimized website. And then the last one we talked about was backlinks, making sure that we have links going outbound from our website, but then also on other sites that are coming back to ours as well. That can be really important in building that trust and credibility with Google. Another one I want to touch on, because just from working with my clients and even just as a consumer, I feel like a business listing for your company is super important too, because that can help us show up on maps. It can show us the number of reviews that we have. Like having more reviews with Google is really important too. So I just kind of want to add that in there maybe as step number 6 too. If your company is brick and mortar, or even if you're online, like having that Google business listing can be another really great way to increase your SEO performance and ensure that you are showing up in those top searches when people are going to Google and searching for, whatever it is that you offer with those keywords. So just wanted to add that in there as another one. All right, now I want to come back to the question that I asked you earlier, which is like, what are some mistakes that you see businesses making when it comes to developing their website? And if you want to go so far as to like say how that ties into like hurting their SEO, you could talk about that. But just like, what are some common mistakes? Like as you've been launching these like 8 or 9 websites so far in the last 30 days, like obviously you've prevented probably some mistakes from getting made too when it comes to the design or whatever. But yeah, what are some of those common mistakes you see businesses making on their website?
Before even working or having a kickoff meeting with the client, I like to see their current website if they do have one, and see what mistakes they have and some of the pain points they're probably running into. So I act as a client. I'll go in the website and try to find their phone number, their email, and sometimes the website's just slow, not loading. They have stock photos, and stock photos just builds like like a barrier where like I don't trust you. I don't see anybody that I
Because
recognize.
it looks like stock photos too.
So those are some common mistakes. So I always want the client to give us like pictures of like their workers, of them helping people out, or whatever service they're doing. I wanted to add that to the website to build that trust already as soon as somebody sees it. And instead of them having to go search for you, look at reviews, they're seeing the pictures of you helping out or whatever business you're in.
Mhm.
Use your own photos. Definitely talk the language that somebody else is talking. Show proof, testimonials. That's something
Mhm.
huge. So having testimonials on your website and yeah, just having good content, making the website very user friendly for everybody. That's something I really try to target, and that helps with SEO. Um, and they love it. I love the end result because I think of the old website and the new website, and I'm just like, this is going to be so much easier for
Yes.
anybody coming to the website. So that's something I always try to go for, is making everything so much easier and having everything visible on the header. So something I love working on is the header, making it
Yeah.
aesthetically pleasing, having at least 3 to 4 call to actions on the header, but not making it to where it's like pushy. Just having it nice, like, hey, here's my phone number. Hey, you want to email me? Hey, you want to give me a call? Hey, here's the about us. Just
Yeah.
very easy, very simple. Because most of the time, they're probably not going to scroll through the whole homepage. They're probably just looking for your phone number, a little bit about you, and your email if they want to talk to you. So having
Yeah.
everything.
I
So
love the point about testimonials because I feel like there's different ways to do that. Like I know like sometimes on sites that we build, we might like manually put like a few good reviews with like someone's picture, right? And it like might be like more of like an actual sub page of the website. But then sometimes too, it could be like a plugin, right? That like links and like automatically updates with their like latest Google reviews. Um, but I was laughing because before we went live too, I was telling Franny about like the cruise my husband and I are planning to go on. And one of the things that they have is like video testimonials of like recent people. And I was telling Franny, I'm like, there's like different levels of this cruise. And my husband, the one that my husband and I are going on, all the reviews are for people that are like retired and like, 65 and up crowd. But I also feel like that is such a good way, like having a photo of someone with their review, it helps people see other people that look like them. Like my husband and I, we're like going for like a very relaxing one. We're not going for like the fist bumping and like clubbing cruise or whatever. If that was the vibe, like I would have totally gathered that from the reviews of the people on that particular page of their website, right? But since I went to this other one, I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be an older crowd. We're going to be lounging on the deck and like reading our books. Like it's going to be chill. So I feel that that just comment alone just made me like think about that. But having those reviews on the site is like crucial, like just from a trust perspective, from a buyer's perspective, and wanting to quote unquote see people that look like them or other buyers that look like them. Just from an understanding too of like who is going to be on this cruise with me, like who is this tailored for, in this example. So yeah, I just wanted to like quick touch on that since we were just talking about it. But yeah, definitely have reviews on your page. Of course, they're going to see them if you have that Google business listing already, but just to, like have that really reinforced or be able to like tell a little bit more of a story with the reviews once they're actually on the site. I think that can be really powerful.
yeah, your Google listing is definitely a first impression. So if your Google listing isn't making it, they're probably not going to make it to your website. And if they're making it to the website, that's just more like an added trust, a layer of trust. So if they see your Google listing and they click on your website and your website's not that good, they're going to head out.
Yeah. That's a truth bomb though. If people aren't clicking after they see your Google listing,
Yeah.
they're not making it to the website.
Yeah.
That's
Where's the
that's
exit door at for sure? So
yeah. Um, okay, cool. Love those mistakes that you're seeing people making. Like not having the reviews on the site. They don't really have the call to action and like the good header, like you were mentioning you like working on for clients. Um, they're viewing and building the website from their perspective, not from the perspective of the consumer. Gosh, I feel like that's like number
Yeah.
one biggest mistake, truthfully. But yeah, those are all so good.
Yeah.
Real quick too, Franny. So, just like going back to like everything about SEO, if someone is listening today and they're like, okay, backlinks, keywords, I have no idea how my website is ranking up. What can they do in order to like check and see how their website's standing up against competitors right now?
Yeah, we actually have a link on our website called uglymugseo.com.
Cool.
So I can attach that. Can I just add it to the comments here?
Yeah, you can.
So you can go in there and it'll let you know where you score with your SEO, where you rank, what's missing, where I think you can even see how you're doing against your competitors. If not, then there's some free websites out there that let you see that, how you're comparing to your competitors, where you're standing, what you're missing. And yeah, so
Yeah. And it's like I've seen a couple of these go out to clients in the past, and it is like a multi-page document. There's tons of value. It's going to give you like a grade, like Franny mentioned, and it's going to tell you like what you specifically need to work on. Um, and it's really valuable because if you're going to try and do the SEO yourself, you'll know where you need to start, right? But you'll also know if you're going to an agency like Ugly Mug for help with your SEO, you can be like, hey, like I pulled this and like I need help with
yeah,
SEO in general, but like specifically with backlinks or specifically with my meta tags or specifically with my Google business listing that is non-existent, so it's going to like give you a really, really good picture of, like Franny said, how you're standing up right now, just solo, but like even stacks up against competitors. So super valuable tool. Franny just dropped that in the comments section. You can just go to uglymugseo.com. It will bring you right there. You'll see a fun little video and then a place literally just to drop the link to your website, and then you'll get emailed the report
yeah. And
directly
it's
from.
free. Yeah, and it's free. It's totally free.
Yes.
The value of this is actually, I think it's around like 250 to 225, but we provide it for free because we want you to see the results and what you're missing out on. So
Yeah. So definitely go and check that out. We went way over time today, Franny, which I feel like
yeah,
fun.
we did
Um,
good.
I feel like I need to change coffee chats to just 45 minutes because they always go 45 minutes. But before we go, on a personal note or a work-related note, I want to know what is one thing that you are looking forward to as we're heading into Q4 of this year?
Learning more about psychology and colors related to websites. So I'm learning a lot about that right now. Currently working on a new website. I don't know if we promoted it yet, so I don't
We
want to
did.
talk. We
We
did
posted it.
book
Yeah.
thinkers.
Yeah, with Book
Yeah.
Thinkers.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm looking at the psychology behind that, the colors, and I had to really figure out his target audience, what language they're speaking, and then I had to dig deep and see what colors attracts not that the niche he's targeting, but the clients that specific person is trying to attract. So then I have to relate that to the website. And so far we're doing good, and he loves it. He loves the colors, he loves the layout, and I'm super excited for that. But basically just learning about psychology and the colors and relate that more to the websites. I didn't really look at that back then, but now that I'm learning about colors and psychology and
Yeah.
first impressions and how colors really relate to you and what they make you think right away or how they make you feel.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So that's something I want to keep learning.
Yeah.
So
Cool. I love that. All right, y'all. This has been a jam-packed coffee chat all about SEO and websites and how to ensure that our websites are built, designed, and crafted in such a way that we're going to have success at driving organic traffic using SEO strategies. Franny, again, talked to us about backlinks. We talked about writing content and making sure that it really relates with your target audience. We talked about doing our SEO reports. We talked about the importance of updating that content too, and not just setting and forgetting it, making sure you've got a mobile friendly site, but then also making sure that your website loads quickly. We gave you some free resources to be able to go and check out and see how fast your website loads, but also to see the areas of your website that you need help on so that you can continue to drive organic traffic to your website. And one thing I want to say too before we go, SEO is a long game.
Yeah, it is.
It is not a 1 month changes and edits and a singular blog on your website. It is a long-term strategy that must be updated over time, but it is worth it. It is absolutely worth it because you cannot launch a website and expect people to come. We have to make sure that our website is optimized in such a way that the people will come and that Google essentially will have our website show up in the top rankings and send more traffic to our sites. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today, whether you're watching live or you're catching the replay. Franny, thanks for taking 40 minutes out of your day to share some information with us here today. We're going to take a little bit of a break from Coffee Chats again, but then the next time that we are on Coffee Chats, we are going to be talking with Dr. Sabrina Starling and talking all about her book, How to Hire the Best, and all kinds of wonderful information. We've had the privilege of personally working with Dr. Sabrina Starling for quite some time now. I'm so excited to have her on the show in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for our promotion on that episode, and we will catch y'all then. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.